I'm Bill Patton with 720 Degree Coaching, and I'm pleased to have Mark Wylam of SportsProsConnect.com with me. And what we're going to do, we're going to outline 5 or more things that you as a tennis pro can do to enhance your career right now, make yourself more valuable, and promote, promote other products or services that you offer in order to get through this difficult time of containment of this coronavirus. So welcome, Mark. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
All right, excellent.
Tough times, but we're going to aim to get through these things.
Exactly. So, and yeah, I mean, the idea behind this is I hope that we're coming away with some practical action items that people can act on and get benefit from immediately. So stay tuned, because I'm pretty sure you're going to get at least one thing here that you'll find a lot of value in. All right. So Mark, give us a little bit of background about Sports Pros Connect and how did you, because your evolution is part of a story about how people can maybe mimic what you've done. How did you get started and how did you get here? Let's, run us through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, of course. I'll cut a long story short, but originally my father, he was an engineer, and he worked in various different countries all around the world. He would always be put in charge of tournaments at local clubs, at embassies, and therefore the first thing that he did was run tournaments and run leagues and this sort of thing. So roll forward a few years, he retired and wrote a book on organising social tennis tournaments. In the early 2000s, he created a website, created a business called Social Tennis. Unfortunately, now 4 years ago, my father passed away, and he was given 6 months to live, and 3 months later, and he told me that being a tennis coach myself, he said that it was an ideal opportunity for you to take it on if you wanted to. No pressure, but after a few months after he died, I just thought, well, it's a good opportunity. I was hating the job that I was doing. I was coaching part-time, but I was also working actually at a big US company in Ireland. And I thought, well, let's just do something a bit different. So I moved into the company called socialtennis.com. I was running that for a little while and realized that what I was trying to do didn't tally with the name Social Tennis. So I rebranded to Sports Pros Connect, and I've been doing that since May 2018. Basically now our company ethos is to connect tennis coaches and tennis players with academies, resorts, clubs, federations all over the world. So we have some sort of following in more than 95 different countries now. So things have moved on.
So now, are you still also providing websites, or is that business gone completely all away?
No, we still provide websites for coaches, for clubs. But that's a basic part of what I do, because it's all developed through a template, and the template is there for clubs to use. It's there for coaches to use as a full website. But what I tend to do is promote the coaches and promote the players and provide a profile, if you like, more of a profile or web page about the particular coach or the player. Or the product itself. So so that's where I am at the moment.
Okay, so let's get into the practical stuff and or the preparatory stuff. I'm reminded of a thing of an item from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And, you know, Stephen Covey talks about the difference between production and production capability, right? And so increasing our production capability is an opportunity that we have right now. But what's the first thing that is the biggest opportunity created by this time when we've stopped or slowed massively down from coaching? Where would you say people should put their energy at this time?
Social media is obviously good. I've seen so many so much positivity in posts. Obviously, we get the negativity with what's going on. It's a really, really sad time. It's very, very difficult to comprehend what's going on. But we're also seeing people try to make the best of what they're doing. I'm seeing constantly drills from coaches to try to interact, because it doesn't just stop there. Okay, yes, we're restricted to our homes. Most of us aren't coaching anymore, and if you are, you're very lucky. But potentially, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But a lot of people are producing good content, good videos, and making the best of what they've got. One of the things that can be done now is, and couldn't be done 10, 15 years ago, was online online coaching, online the mental training as well, and that's what a lot of people are getting into.
Okay, so now in terms of building a social media following, what are some of the best practices there that that can help people get more engagement with people and also help them increase their network and their influence?
Yeah, I'd say I'm not the best person to be talking about this. I don't use it as effectively as I should. But Instagram, I feel, is a massive tool to be used at the moment. I don't use it that well, but videos of just 30 seconds, or I think a minute, is the longest you can have on a video in Instagram. And I think a lot of people are doing that well. I also think that stories, Facebook stories, which come up and they go after 24 hours. I know you can do that in Instagram as well. I think that's an effective tool for people to be able to view and to build your following. Obviously, we've got the hashtags that you have to put towards them to drive them to the right people.
Right. I think I want to throw something out there too, because one of the important aspects of it is to be authentic, to really be yourself, and make sure that you're, because a lot of what happens on social media is that people project this sort of idealized vision of, I'm getting an echo to myself here. So they try to project an idealized vision of that they're living this extravagant lifestyle or what have you. But, I think it's also important to share your struggles to some extent and empathize with the struggles of other people, and, be there, be helpful, and really engage. So authenticity is one thing. What's another aspect of how you do it that's helpful?
I guess it's I guess an element would be self-promotion. Now, self-promotion isn't always good, but on social media, it's how you go and make the best of what you're doing. And you've got to self-promote. You've got to promote what you're proud of doing. You've got to be aware of what you do. So I think an element of self-promotion has to be done at this moment in time. And obviously we have to empathize with people. And I'm sure there are thousands there that are in worse situations than you and I, because it is a difficult time. But at the same time, you still have to do what you have to do to make ends meet.
Yes, absolutely. You bring up the phrase self-promotion, and I know that there was a time when I was frightened of that. I mean, I absolutely averse to that notion. And a good friend of mine, who's a successful businessman and not like an over-the-top egotistical kind of a guy, he's a very level-headed, humble sort of a guy. He said to me this, he's like, well, you're not really promoting yourself, you're promoting the sport that you love. And what you're promoting are tools that will help people get better at it. And you're promoting relationships with you. And so somebody has to be the face of what you are doing, and that face is you. So people sign up for people. I mean, you can make all the flyers that you want that don't have your picture on it. But if you put your picture on that, then people can see who you are. And that helps break down some of the fear of the unknown. Hey, we're going to go to this program and we don't even know what the people look like that we're going to go see. Right? So your picture's on there. Then when they get there and they go, oh, there he is right there. Okay. Oh, sigh of relief. So,
they can see who's in the program.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's okay to let your face be the face of the program, and don't think of it as promoting yourself. It's that you're trying to grow the game.
Yeah. And I think a lot of what I do is create profiles for coaches and for players. Now we've moved into a player situation as well, but what I do, and I make sure, and there's a lot of people that aren't good at it. So when somebody signs up, when a coach signs up with my platform, what I'll ask for them to do is provide me with testimonials. I'll ask them to provide me videos and pictures and their CV, and I'll make it all into a one pager, social media as well. And so many people that I speak with don't have any videos, or they don't have any photos, or they say that they're going to make one now. And I think that you really have to promote yourself. You really have to have these photos. You have to be proud of what you've done in the past.
Right.
Because otherwise no one's gonna, I can send a profile over there and I know that an employer just will not be impressed by it.
Right.
So
well, and also I want
to
translate something you said, because CV is UK and European for resume. So so you work on your resume, make it look nice, get a professional headshot. Yeah. I mean, get someone who has a good camera to take a really good picture of you. Get a picture of you on court coaching. Absolutely. So yeah, doing those little activities, that's going to make a really big difference, because it's not what you say about yourself so much, it's what other people say about you that's going to really benefit you. Now, let's get into something a little more sensitive. Not too long ago, before the coronavirus really got to the point where they had called it a pandemic, I was very public about the fact that I was doing a nationwide search for a possible director of tennis or head pro job, if that's the top job at a club. So, and I'll tell you what, I had someone actually come and personally criticize me, attacking me for that. And yet I kind of cooled it. I cooled my heels as soon as they said pandemic. I was like, okay, my public job search has now ended. I'm going to go a lot more personal and private with that. But one thing that's always going to happen, no matter how much you put yourself out there, you will always find someone willing to criticize you. Whether you
Yeah.
put yourself out there massively or not. So you can't protect yourself from that, but it is good to be sensitive to these things, because right now a lot of people are losing their jobs. So to come in and self-promote to the point where it's like, hey, I'm looking to take your job, Mark. Hey, but now that there's a possible recession, I'm gonna take over Sports Pros Connect from you. You know what I mean? That's really not a way that you want to present yourself. So I would say we want to temper what we're saying with that. But do you have more on this topic, or should we move on to another practical thing people can do?
I mean, I have one other point to make there. Part of what I will do when I initiate, when a coach or a player comes to me and wants me to promote them, or wants to do a little web page on them, the first thing I'll do is ask for their situation. So sometimes someone's in a really, really good job, but wants to find something better, but doesn't want to let all their current players know, or their current know that they're looking. So they want me to introduce them into the community without, as such, saying to people, this person's actively looking for a job. So I'll do that. I'll introduce them into our social media network, and just introduce them, because part of what I do, as you said before, was website. So it could be just that I'm building a website for them. So on the other side of that, people sometimes are out of jobs, so they need to actively push to find themselves a job. So by adding that onto their profile, by adding that onto maybe a social media post that I might do, it would prompt a potential employer to look at them and then approach them. We've had quite a few bits of success where a coach has self-promoted, and another country club or another academy have come to them and headhunted them through that. So it does work a bit both ways, but obviously at the moment it's not great because there's a lot of unemployment going on. So you've got to be very careful, like you say. You don't want to go on somebody's bandwagon.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we have a lot of agreement on that, but at the same time, now there are opportunities. So, but yeah, you just don't want to push too hard necessarily. Now, let's get into how to make yourself recession-proof, because one thing that I noticed was during the big downturn of 2008, 2009, with the tech bubble crash, I didn't really lose many clients. In fact, I was starting to get some clients who had been going with other coaches, not because I, tried to get them from them, but just I think people assume that if just because there's a recession, you're going to lose a lot of business. But I think what really happens is people then become more protective of their disposable income. So they don't have as much. So they're going to make sure that whatever they're doing, they're not wasting it on anybody. So for instance, what I found is that the people who charge half of what I charge were losing tons of business because the people weren't really gaining much value from the lessons.
Yeah.
So in what way can people, improve themselves and improve their image through website, and especially through the website? How can people improve their image and send the message that they're a cut above?
Yeah, there's several ways to do it. It's like, and I'll use an example which might not relate to a lot of you, because I guess a lot of your viewers will be in the States, and you wouldn't have played cricket. But I'll put it to cricket before. Okay, so the situation is that 10 years ago you could have a specialist bowler or a specialist batsman or a specialist fielder, and they would sit into the side of a game. And you're looking at me very blankly. I know that.
Yeah.
But,
But
just hear me out.
Yeah.
But now, what's happening in the game of cricket is that you're becoming much more of a liability if you can only do one part of the game. And you need to become good at 2, even 3 facets of the game to make a living in the sport. So therefore, now what I'm trying to say is that you can't be focused on one side of things in the tennis coaching situation. You've got to be able to adapt and change to various different situations. And by changing, we mean going online. Online coaching would be perfect, an example. I've seen many coaches say, well, I've written lots and lots of books in the past, so this is an ideal time to do that, so then you can make so that your money further down the line. So you've really got to move on. Like these are difficult times for all of us, and it's difficult time for myself as well. But you've got to find other ways that you can survive.
Yeah.
Worst coaches will go down.
I want to cut in there for a second because I just have this thing that's just burning, that I gotta get out there before I forget. If maybe the most important way to make money in teaching tennis is being excellent with beginners. So if you take this time to really think about how do you approach beginners and how quickly can you get them playing the game, that's where a large percentage of the money is to be made teaching tennis. So, I have a reputation for astonishing people with how quickly they can play the game. I get a lot of people who've come from other programs disappointed, afraid that they have failed to learn it, and I'm their last chance to learn the game. And then when they come and in their first lesson, we're rallying, and in a couple more lessons, they're hitting serves and volleys, and they've got some level of competency. And then in a couple more lessons, I give them what I call the 2.0 test, according to the NTRP, right? If they can get a serve in and follow it up with 3 shots after that 10 times in 10 minutes, then they're ready to play a set with somebody and not embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
So this getting them going, and then on my YouTube channel, and this will be posted on YouTube in a little bit, I want to encourage everybody to watch the David Archer interview, because David has an incredible program where in 6 or 8 weeks, he gets absolute beginners into a league. And then also he establishes them with friends who are the same level. And then from there, then they matriculate on up. So now what's another really big segment of where tennis pros can make money, and it might be surprising to them?
Yeah, so other ways is, I guess, just creating something that's unique to you. And like I mentioned before, that could be a book. So that could be telling your story. It could be learning. It could be sort of not spending all your time when you're in a position like this, doing nothing and with the heads down. You need to be using your continuing education credits. You need to better yourself. And I think so many more people will feel better about doing an online course here or there, and they'll learn more. There are a lot of coaches out there that I'm in connection with, and they think that they've been there 30 years, they've been there 40 years. So they think they know it all, but the whole point of tennis coaching is that it's evolving, and they need to adapt with the changes that are being made. And you can't say that anybody isn't learning at any one time. and if they are, they shouldn't be coaching. I think that's quite a big pet peeve of mine. If somebody thinks they know it all.
Right. Well, and I think also people don't understand what that does to their clientele. So one thing that's really interesting to me is that when I show my students that I'm still learning, it increases their curiosity and it encourages them to be better learners themselves instead of trying to attain the level of know-it-all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, yeah. I mean, and it brings back that quote from John Wooden that says, learning is what you do after you know it all.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. It's I don't think anyone no one knows everything. It's you've got to continue learning, otherwise, and if you think that you know everything and you know better than one other person, then that's the end, really. I mean,
yeah. So one thing that's been fun for me is I've been helping people write their first books, and so that was a new thing for me 2 years ago, that I started helping people write their books. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm really working on my YouTube channel, and you know, I'm trying, and I have a lot of content that I've created over the years with my podcast, and then, you know, I'm always looking for new interviews. So if you're watching this, you're invited to come for an interview. I mean, I'll give anybody that wants it a 30-minute interview, and you can explain your program, and then that's a tool for you as a coach to now show your parents. When you enter the program, I want you to watch this 30-minute video, right? And here's a little quiz that comes along with it just to prove that you really watched it. And then you can, then how much effort can you save indoctrinating people into the way you do things? So right now, we also have this rare opportunity to set up systems that can save us a lot of time and energy moving forward. I mean, maybe the book you write is about your program and it's just an ebook. It's a 2,400 word ebook, but it outlines your program philosophy. And then now you have that resource moving forward. So where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? You tell me, Bill.
All right. So now, what's another sort of unique opportunity created by the fact that everything's come to a halt?
It's in just a few words. It's get yourself out of your comfort zone and start learning more and progressing with your coaching skills, moving forward. Everyone's out of their comfort zone. It's a difficult time for everyone, but the people that will survive are the ones that are doing something about it.
Yes. And, you know, also, I think this is a really good time to take time out to check in and build relationships, you know, reestablish connections with people that you might have lost track with over the years. These things happen. Make sure people around you are well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know every once in a while, you know, I'll see something where one thing that I think is an incredible blessing is that a lot of times people will make themselves somewhat vulnerable on their social media, and they'll explain a hardship that they're having. And I find that really helpful, because then I can reach out to them, because now I know that's happening. So I would also say, be courageous about sharing your struggles, because you never know who you're going to inspire because of that. It comes back to authenticity, and it comes back to, you know, stepping away from kind of like portraying the idealistic lifestyle, you know, like you went and you rented a Lamborghini for the day, and now you're going to take pictures all over the place, you know, and you've got some nice clothing, but the tags are still on them, and you're going to return them after the photo shoot. So yeah, I mean, bring whatever you do, bring authenticity to it. All right. So it sounds like our conversation may have run its course, and I think there's some good stuff here. So let's recap. What are the big takeaways from this talk, Mark?
Yeah, I guess the big recap is that it's tough times for everyone. We're all going through it, and really, the best way to do things is make the most of this position, make the most of the time that you have with your family, but also make the best time that you can and start innovating, start doing things out of your comfort zone, and really help yourself. But hopefully by helping yourself, you'll be helping hundreds of others as well at the same time.
Well, okay, and to tack on to number one right there, connect with Sports Pros Connect. Get connected with, because you might need to change positions. You might not have a position. I mean, and I think some people might actually get surprised by what happens, and not a happy surprise after we come out of this. So be ready to spring, so connect with Mark on Sports Pros Connect, and that's going to be an important thing to branch out. Okay, so what's number two?
So number two, what is number two? Number two is just, like you say, connect with others. Make sure they're all doing well. Make sure there's something that if there's anything that you can help with. Let's all try to help. One person a day would be fantastic. It's difficult to go on a face-to-face level at the moment, but like we're doing here, we're interviewing, we're speaking on Zoom, changing with the times. So we can speak on Skype, we can speak on Messenger. Just reach out to people and make sure everyone is doing okay.
Yeah, and I would say if you're a club pro, this would be a great time to make sure that you are sending a text or calling all of your clients and find out how they're doing, and that's one of those things that makes you recession proof, because you're creating community. It's invaluable. And I would also say flip your list upside down. So write the names from the people you'd most like to talk to down to the least, and call them in reverse order, because you may actually be able to win somebody over who's been difficult for you. If they get wind of the fact that they didn't get called until Thursday, and you started calling everybody on Monday, then they start to assess where they are in your pecking order.
Yeah, that's not going to help things. It's going to help your situation.
Right. So go in reverse order. You never know. You could win somebody over at that time. And, and then when they're discussing, when the club board is discussing who to let go, and Mark texted everybody, but Bill was just busy, drinking gin and tonics, then, Mark's got the job and Bill's now hunting.
Yeah. So if that's the case, guys, come to the Sports Pros Connect.
All right, with your G&T in hand. So now, so any final words? You got another takeaway or final words?
I just want to, I want to reach out to everyone at the moment and just say, first thing is stay safe, but make sure you are innovating, make sure you're moving on, make sure you're not just sitting still and down in the dumps. And look, I'm just here on the end of a phone, on the end of an email. I can speak to anyone that's interested in coming. Please check us out anytime.
Okay, so give contact information and where you are on the web.
Okay, so yeah, the website is Sports Pros Connect, www.sportsprosconnect.com.
I was hoping you weren't going to say www.
www, HTTP, all the difference. You can follow us on Facebook. My email is info@sportsbrosconnect.com. We're on all the social media channels, so just reach out and find us, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, so go find Mark on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know, all of that. So, all right. Hey, Mark, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you, and good luck to you with Sports Pros Connect, and help people go get those jobs and help them promote their products.
Absolutely, Bill. And thank you very much for having me, and hope everything's a-okay for you guys out there, and let's hope this lasts sooner rather than later.
Yep, I'm hopeful that we will not be talking about this shortly.
That's good. It's good to hear.
All right, take care.
Thank you very much for having me, Bill, and thanks guys for listening.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers for now. Bye-bye.